Hey everyone, welcome back to Cuddy's Bookshelf. So it is time for July's reading wrap up, and I read a lot in July. I think this is the most I have ever read in a single month. So there's that, but I did have a couple of weeks on annual leave from work, so all I did was sit down and read. And this month I really wanted to catch up on like all of the manga series as well that I'm behind on, and so I did. So there is a big chunk of manga in here, and I will show you those first. So the first ones was Kaijo number 8, volume 8, 9 and 10. So this is about Kafka, who has always wanted to join the armed forces since he was young and learn and help fight the Kaijo. And the whole premise of this is him going through changes as he's starting to make waves in getting into the armed forces, and he's like, how can I help fight the Kaijo when I am becoming one? And I loved this series. I continue to love it. I will continue to carry on with it, and they have just brought the anime out that I haven't started yet, so I really wanted to catch up before I started the anime. So yeah, they're the first 3 manga. And then the next manga series that I caught up on was Dandan. So I read volume 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. This follows a boy and a girl. One believes in aliens, one believes in spiritual, and they set out to disprove each other's theories. And it is the weirdest manga. The first volume especially was the weirdest thing I'd ever read, and after I finished it I was like, what the bloody hell did I just read? There is like Turbo Granny, who is a ghost granny who wants to eat the boy's schlong. Yep, their choice of words. And then there is aliens that are very inappropriate. It is explicit content, so if you're not old enough, don't read it. But yeah, I caught up on Dandan also. The last manga series that I started from the beginning this month, and I have been watching the anime as well, and I just love this series so much. I haven't read the newest 2 volumes, which is volume 10 and 11. I am going to read that next month, so expect that in my TBR video. But it is Spyx Family. So I did start this series, but I just wanted to restart it, start it all over again, and fully indulge myself in this series. And I love this series so much. I could gush about it for ages. So this follows a man called Twilight, who is a spy, and his mission is to get into this elite school, and to do so he needs to have a wife and a child. So he goes to an adoption place and adopts this little girl called Anya. And then I love Anya so much, she's so sweet. And then he finds a wife called Daugh, and Daugh is a secret assassin, and Anya is a telepath. So he doesn't know that he is now got a home with an assassin and a telepath. The only person that knows that there is a spy, a telepath and a assassin living in the house is the little girl, obviously, because she can read their minds. And it is great. It's such a good found family, and I just love it. I could gush about it for ages, but I won't, because this video will last forever. It's going to be a long one, by the way, so grab yourself a cup of tea. Pause it, grab yourself a cup of tea and a snack. Then I read 2 books that I've been wanting to just get to. I had a lot of books by this author, and I unhauled all of them. I read the first book. I wasn't overwhelmed by it, which I was shocked by, because they have now made it into a series, and I thought, oh, this is going to be, you know, great. And I wasn't that bothered about it, but I did want to read the following 2 in the trilogy, and then there's other books by the author that I also unhauled. So I will unhaul these, and it is One of Us is Next and One of Us is Back. These are by Karen M. McManus. They was okay. I gave them 3 stars. They wasn't terrible, but it just wasn't a trilogy that I was completely gripped. I think I've been reading too many good thrillers lately to hold on to ones that are just okay. So yeah, there was those 2. So if you didn't know the premise of the first one, there was 5 students that got put into this detention, and one of them dies, and they are all questioned regarding this. There is a big plot twist and everything in there. It's like a Gossip Girl type thing where someone is spreading rumours through a like a text, website, email thing, and all of the school is involved, and yeah, it all comes out anyway, and it just wasn't my thing. It was okay. Then I did read 2 poetry collections this month. She Is Strong But She Is Tired by R.H. Sin. I did read this in the vlog, so you will hear more of my thoughts in that. But this one is it has a target audience, definitely has a target audience. If you are in a relationship that is not meant to be, if it's abusive relationship, if it's like a cheating relationship, it's basically a book to pick you up and know your worth. But it does get really, really repetitive, and even the author acknowledges at one point in the book that it is repetitive, but he's trying to drone in to your brain about the message, the whole message of the book. So I do think it would be helpful for a target audience. That audience just wasn't for me, and this got a 3 stars, but it was still good. I just think it needs to find, you know, its people. And I really do hope that it helps someone. The other poetry collection that I read was Light Filters in Poems by Caroline Kaufman. This also got a 3 stars. I don't know, it felt very more Instagram-y thing is, which it probably is. I think reading the back, it says that she is an Instagram sensation. But it's like her own reflections on life, and it's Caroline's experiences, like give them back to us, and like helping us through life. And it was good, but again, it wasn't what I was looking for at the time, so maybe I'll reread that another time and I'll give it a better rating, but it just wasn't for me. And then I read 2 romances. I always buy this author's contemporary romances all of the time. She is an auto-buy author, and it is Ali Hazelwood. And I have quite a few, I think all of Ali Hazelwood's books, but I hadn't read these 2 yet. And there's still her fantasy one, Bride, that I haven't read yet. But I went into these 2 because I was really fancying some easy contemporary romances. But I didn't realise Check and Mate was more of a YA romance. So yeah, there's that. I think if I went into it knowing it was a YA romance, I would have enjoyed it even more, because I did enjoy this one. It was really addictive. I read it really, really fast, but I wasn't expecting the YA-ness of it. But again, that's what you get for auto-buying a book and not reading about it. But I did enjoy this. This one follows Mallory, who is was a avid chess player. She was really, really good, but she had sworn off of playing chess since the death of her dad. And then she gets like coaxed into by her friend, like peer pressure, into playing a chess game, and ends up beating the world champion. And it goes from there, and her rekindling her love for chess. And then there is Nolan, who is the world champion who she beat, and he's like determined to play her again. It goes from there. It's quite a good YA romance, but it is YA. And then another turn that I took with Ali Hazelwood, because I thought, well, that wasn't the one that I was really seeking, so I went into Not in Love. And this one is more of a, it's not contemporary, it's more of a adult romance, like a smutty romance, and I wasn't expecting that either. I was really just fancying a cozy contemporary romance, and this has a lot of smut in it. In this one, you follow Eli and Rue, and Rue works at a company, and Eli is trying to buy that company, but they first meet on a app where it is for literally just meeting up for sex, and they sort of meet up, but they never did the deed because things came up. And then she sees that he is one of the people that's trying to buy this company that her friend owns, and it really tours between her friendships and her being attracted to Eli and loyalty and stuff like that. But yeah, it wasn't what I was expecting, but it proves that Ali Hazelwood can write a lot of smut at the same time. So there was that one. I'll go into some of the fantasies that I read. So the biggest chunk of fantasies that I read was one that I unwrapped, which was The Mask of Mirrors. And then I did read The Liar's Knot and Labyrinth's Heart straight after. So I did read the entire trilogy and I did enjoy it. It was very political. It was quite a dense fantasy. This follows Ren, who has poisoned her gang leader and escaped with her adopted sister Tess. And they are, 5 years later, they infiltrate this noble family and try and basically get signed, registered to their family, so then they could get a amount of money that will sit them nice and comfortable for the rest of their life. And by doing so, there is a whole world that happens. It's absolutely so dense, so it is addictive actually. It makes you want to know, and I did prefer Liar's Knot and Labyrinth's Heart more than the first one. This one I didn't find as addictive as these two, but I did fully enjoy it. There is so many characters in this. There's a big cast of characters. There is a vigilante who is the Rook, and he is against the nobles. Then there is the Rose. There is also like gang leaders. There's like politicians. There's so many characters in this. It is a big chunk of a world to get into. I wouldn't recommend this for someone that's new to fantasy, but if you do like your big dense political fantasies, I highly recommend this one. So the next book I read was Fae Band. I did read this in the vlog, the 5-star prediction vlog. This got a 4 stars. It would have got a 5. It was a 5-star until towards the end, and some of the reveals I found really predictable, so it sort of dulled it down a little bit for me, but I am still really looking forward to the next book in this series. I really liked Yerin and Leto. I liked their relationships and how they were really struggling on how to talk to each other about their feelings and what they think to each other's profession. So Yerin is a warrior. She lives for the war that is going on, and she thinks she was born in this war. She will die on the battlefield, and that is that. And it's sort of like bred into her that she is a warrior. Whereas Leto, she is practicing the divine. She is trying to find prophecies for a better future, until one day Yerin goes out and something happens that causes Yerin to be exiled. And Leto follows her sister, and they're in this woods that is on the outskirts of Elven lands. They come across the Fae, and Fae haven't been seen for a millennium. So it goes from there. It's really, really good. I do highly recommend it. It just got a little bit predictable for me, but I am still really excited to carry this series on. Then I went into The Serpent and the Wings of Night. I also read The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, and also Six Scorched Roses. I really enjoyed these. These two got 4 stars. This one got 5. I really enjoyed this novella that goes with it. I found it really addicting. Serpent and the Wings of Night follows Arya, and she is a human-born adopted daughter to the night-born vampire king. So she lives in a world that is very dangerous for her, but she thinks to prove herself she should take part in the Ajari, which is a tournament that is held by the goddess of death. And to do so, she has to come up against some really vicious monsters and has to make an alliance with her enemy. And it's a really, really good, addictive read. I flew through these so fast. With Six Scorched Roses, this is a novella that's set in the same world, and this follows Lilith, who lives in a town that's been cursed by a god, and she is not willing to let the villagers wither away. And that is exactly what they're doing, is they are slowly turning grey and withering away into nothing, and she is especially not going to let it happen to her little sister. So she makes a deal with this vampire that's in the town, that if she gives him 6 roses, 6 different roses, and he will give her vials of his blood to help find a cure to the town's problem, basically. But it is so, so good. The the relationship between Lilith and the vampire is amazing. I ate this one up. I just loved it. So good. I'll go in now to some of the more thriller type books that I read. And the first one was The Perfect Child. And this is by Lucinda Berry. And because I read Saving Noah last month and I could not get that book out of my head because of the subject matter, I wanted to go into some more, and obviously my mum bought me some more Lucinda Berry, so thank you, Mum. I jumped into this one this month, and I wasn't as addicted because I found the ending quite predictable, and so I did not enjoy it as much. It was still a really good read. I recommend reading it. It is about a man and a woman who are married. They have, like, everything is perfect apart from they are unable to have a child. They have been trying to have a child, but it's just not working for them. Then a girl is abandoned at the hospital that they both work at, and Christopher, who is the man, and Hannah is the woman. Christopher forms a bond with this abandoned child. Then Hannah starts trying to get close to her also. They end up taking this child home, and shit hits the fan. So the child is very traumatized and starts being more closer to Christopher than she is Hannah, as much as Hannah is trying her best to form a bond with her. But yeah, cracks start forming in the marriage, and it just goes from there. I enjoyed it. The next thriller that I read was Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I ate this one up. It was so good. I really enjoyed this. So this follows Trisha and Ethan, and they are newlyweds. They are looking for a new home, and they go to view this beautiful manor, which was last owned by a infamous psychiatrist who just vanished out of nowhere. Well, while they are there, there is some heavy snow, so they are stuck in this manor. And whilst smooching around, Trisha finds these tapes of the sessions. They're hidden in this hidden room. She finds these tapes, and it's like sessions between the patients. And the more tapes she listens to, the more the puzzle pieces start forming together. And I did not see the twist coming. Oh my goodness. I actually gasped out loud when I was reading this, because I was like, oh my goodness, oh my god. So yeah, highly recommend this. Really enjoyed it. But another thriller that I read was also by Frida McFadden, and it is The Coworker. I did not know who to trust during this book. So this is about two women that work in the same company, and one of them is like clockwork. She comes in to work at 8:45. She goes to the toilet at a certain time. She does everything to a time, and her co-worker realizes that she is late, and this is not like her, so she goes to try and investigate, which muddles her up in this disappearance and what has happened to her. And yeah, you just don't know who to trust through the whole thing. But I just thought I didn't enjoy this as much as Never Lie, because the ending was so peculiar. Like, yeah, I don't want to say much about this because I do think it's one that you should go into blind, but it's very peculiar, the ending, and I don't know if I liked it or not. Yeah. You just can't trust anyone. Don't just go into it and just know, don't trust anyone. So the last thriller that I read was my favourite. This is my favourite thriller, and it is MJ Aldridge's and Julia Crouch, The Wrong Child. Oh my goodness. And this isn't like any other thriller. This follows a mother called Sarah who, out on a walk, her baby is taken. And it goes from her perspective, but you also get this perspective of Willow, who is a teenage girl who is in the Starr family. And they travel around, and her mother adopts into the family children that mothers are getting rid of, that they won't be as loved. So her mother welcomes this new baby called Blaze, and then and all of the Starr family, all of the kids and everything, they are not allowed like social media and stuff. And then they go to this campsite, and Willow starts getting closer to this boy, and he lets her go on his phone, and she starts to notice that this baby that has gone missing called Max has similar traits to her brother that she has just welcomed into the family, Blaze. So she starts to gather some dots, and things are twisty and crazy, and oh my goodness, I really enjoyed this one, so I highly recommend this one. Next two books I really enjoyed. These got 4 stars from me, and it is Days at the Morzak Bookshop and More Days at the Morzak Bookshop. These were really, really sweet. I cried at this one, and this follows Takako, who has, at the beginning, she is told by her boyfriend that he is marrying someone else. So she reluctantly accepts a job from her uncle, who says to her, you won't have to worry about rent or anything. You can stay in this little room that is above the shop. All he asks for is her to help out at the shop. And so she does. She accepts. And when she gets there, she is not really a reader, so she is not drawn to actually working there. All she wants to do is sleep, because she is still really upset over the loss of her boyfriend. And then one night she can't sleep and ends up picking up a book, and she falls in love with reading. And this is just a really sweet story of friendship, family, and the healing power of a book. And I highly recommend these. I just love them. Love them. And then we will go into my 5 stars of the month, because I have 6. I have 6 books that I gave 5 stars to this month, and I am so excited for these. So the first 2 is following the Witches series in the Discworld, the Terry Pratchett Discworld, and the first one I read was Masquerade. I did unwrap this for my TBR, and then I went on to finish the last book in the Witches series, which is Carpe Jugulum. And Terry Pratchett, honestly, the man is amazing. I cannot get enough of his books. I did want to start the Death series. I thought I can always start that in August, and I just stuck to finishing the Witcher series, and I am so glad I did. I don't want to say too much about these, with them being like follow-ons. This one is the one that's set in the opera house, and it was like a haunted opera house. It was everything I wanted the Whispering Muse to be, but better and hilarious. And I just love Granny Weatheraxe and Nanny Og. And also in this one, there is a scene where Death is in it, and I don't want to say too much because no spoilers, but if you've read this, it's the scene with the swan and Death, and I got the giggles so much over that. I just loved it. And then this one is where vampires have come to their town, and the witches are having to deal with that. So yeah, absolutely bloody love Terry Pratchett so much, and I cannot wait to start the Death series, because if it's anything hilariously like any of the death scenes that's been throughout the Witcher series, because he has popped up a few times, I can't wait. It's going to be so good. The next book I did read again in that 5-star prediction vlog, and it is Claire Keegan's Small Things Like These. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This follows Bill Furlong, I think his name is. I'm pretty sure that's his name. It is. So this follows Bill, who is a coal and timber merchant. So he goes around this little Irish town and delivers coal and timber, and it is the run up to Christmas, so he is really, really busy. He is questioning his life choices and what he sees around this town, and how people are blissfully silent with things that they see, so they don't ruffle the feathers of the church. And it's so gripping. It ends so bluntly that you want more, and all Claire Keegan's books do that to you. So if you want a book that you sort of make your own ending up and how you think that it is going to finish, this will be perfect for you. If you don't like that sort of thing, Claire Keegan's books won't be for you. But I loved this so much. It's so beautifully written. I love her writing, so highly recommend this. I gave it 5 stars. Then this is how high my pile is. I'm having to, oh yeah, anyway. Then a book that I recently hauled, and it was suggested by the bookseller that I picked this up, and then somebody else commented. I've had a few comments actually to say that they really enjoyed this book. It's their favourite read of the year, and I understand why. And it is another Irish author, and it is Colin Walsh, and it is Carla. I loved this. This is so good. I highly recommend. I don't want to say too much about it because I went into it not knowing very much. It is about these 6 teenagers that was inseparable when they was younger, and this one summer, I think it was in 2003, yes, in 2003, one summer, one of them goes missing. Carla goes missing, and it is like a build up to seeing the point of view from characters. There is Mush, there is Helen, and there is Joe, and it's them building up what actually happened in that summer. It is so good, so good. My description of it is, it's not the best, honestly. You just read it. It's so good. I highly recommend. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Then we have another book that I read in the vlog that I keep mentioning, and it is Welcome to the Humnandong Bookshop, and oh my goodness, I loved this book so much. It really made you think about life and your life choices. So this follows a woman who has always had this big urge to open a bookshop, and so she does, but at the beginning you realise she is not in the best mental state. So she is got a past that you don't know about until further on in the book, so I'm not going to mention that, but she is obviously suffering with depression. It does mention that she is depressed, and she opens this bookstore, but when she first opens it, she is like crying behind the counter. So when this customer's coming in, it's not really a warm welcome when the person serving you is like wiping away tears. And she only buys books that she's really enjoyed. So she starts changing her ways, and she adds a coffee machine in there and hires a barista to come in who she ends up being really good friends with. And it's such a good book. It's really thought-provoking. It really made me question my life choices and what my dreams are in life. The fact that you can achieve your dream, it still doesn't mean that you will be happy for the rest of your life. You still have to work on your happiness, and the way that working for certain companies and how they use terms like team and family to give you this sense of loyalty to their company, but yet their loyalty isn't to you. They would throw you under the bus in a heartbeat, but you have this false set of security with them using those sort of terms. It also goes into what it is to write a book and how to recommend books to people, and all of the things that you need to think about, like not just automatically recommending people your favourite books, because that not necessarily will be their favourite. I mean, hopefully they will love it, but it's not going to necessarily be their favourite, and you don't know what they've got going on in their life. Could you actually pick a book that would help them through something? It's so good, and you hear from writers themselves, and oh, I literally cannot recommend this enough. I absolutely adored it, and to the point where I went out and bought the paperback edition so I can annotate it, because I want one that's like kept nice, and then I want one to actually go back and reread it, reanalyze everything, write down my favourite parts, write things that has really stuck with me since reading it. Cannot recommend it enough. Really cannot. And it's also translated fiction from Korean. Last but certainly not least, I rated this 5 stars because I think it is one of the most coziest, beautifully written, heartwarming, heartbreaking, emotional books ever. Like, I just loved it so much, and it is the Door-to-Door Bookstore. So this is translated fiction from German, and this book. So this follows Carl, who is a 72-year-old man who has worked in this bookshop for years, and he has just cut down his hours, but he still finds the time to deliver the books. He really takes like loads of care to individually wrap the books so his customers feel like they've got a gift, and he knows his customers so well to the point where he knows that one of them don't like green on the cover, one of them don't like really sad endings, and he recommends them books that he knows that they will love, and he just really gets his customers so well. And he's this lovely old man that goes to each of these customers' doors, and each customer has their own thing going on. So he like supports them with delivering books to them. And then on one of his rounds, he meets a little 9-year-old girl called Shasha, and Shasha starts following him. And there's this really funny bit when they first meet where he's like, "How do you not know that I'm a kidnapper?" Like, she's like, "I'd like to see you try and catch me." So you have this image of this 72-year-old man trying to catch her, which she easily evades him. The text of it was just hilarious, and I loved it. And then it's really a book about found family and the power of a book, what a book can do for you, and age is just a number when it regards to being able to comfort someone and bring them strength when they need it. It's such a powerful book, and something that happens towards the end, I was sobbing, like proper sobbing my heart out. And then when it gets to the end, I was like so overwhelmed with emotions. It was just incredible. I highly recommend this book. I have pre-ordered the paperback because I want to do exactly the same with being able to annotate it, because it's just, I loved it. Absolutely adore this book. If you're gonna buy any of the books, please buy this one and read it and then tell me your thoughts, because there can't be anyone that doesn't like this book. I honestly don't think it's possible for someone to not love this book. It is so cozy and so amazing, and please read it. I need someone to talk to. The little thing on the back of it, it says, "It has been said that books find their own readers, but sometimes they need someone to show them the way." Oh. So freaking good, honestly. That is all of the books that I have read in July. It was a lot. It was a lot of books, and I don't normally get to reading that many, but like I say, I did have some time off work, so I managed to get a lot read. I was reading like books, 1 or sometimes 2 books in a day, so like obviously smaller ones. I'm not absolutely a whiz kid. But yeah, I have really found some amazing books this month. I'm just so excited for them, and I cannot wait till next month and try and find some more. Let me know what you've been reading in July. Have you read any 5-star books? Any recommendations? Please leave them for me in the comments. I would love to know. But yeah, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye! I have got stacks and stacks of books, honestly. It is ridiculous with how many books I've read this month. It's Turbo Granny who wants to eat the boy's law. And I got an itch right in my nostril, so it's going to look like I'm picking, but I'm not. It was an itch. Not like I'm putting that in the video, but you know. It'll probably end up in bloopers, because that's what they're there for, to make me an idiot of myself. And I still auto-buy for me. I didn't realise which was Checkmate. It is a YA romance. I really full of this. That is in the wrong order. That is going to annoy me when I've edited that. So I did read the entire trilogy. There is a vigilante. That's what I meant. I gave the first one 3 stars and then the second 2 4. So. And I've just dropped them all over the floor. But it's fine. It's fine. They're okay. Beanie, they've gone. How dare people walk past our house? I read Saving Noah last month and I could not stop thinking blah, 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 but I thought I can always do that. This month, come in, you know, August. Oh my god, I forgot what the next month is. Questioning his life choices and everything, and if he's, I've got a floaty bit going in my face, because they do not want to ruffle any because they do not want to ruffle any feathers. Ha! An abrupt ending that which all Claire Keegan's books do. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to start this again because I cannot get my words out. Just, it's really thought provoking. And I was like, why am I doing this? Why am I working and for what no, I can't put that in because I'll get sacked. So then I can annotate them. Well, one. So yes. So yes. Do you have any recommendations? And for anyone that's wondering, this is what my TBR jar looks like as of now. These are all of the books, a certain colour to a certain genre. These are all the books that I've read so far this year. So yeah, filling up nicely.